Today, me and Tuck are going to share with you the cheapest and easiest way to fill a raised bed. Let's go! Recently, I showed you how to fill a deep raised bed using rotted logs and sticks. It was actually this raised bed right here. And this is a great method because the rotted logs break down slowly and they also, as they are rotting, can absorb water. This allows the plant's roots to tap into that moisture when they need it. But there's an easier, more convenient way to fill your beds. Not everyone has access to logs, especially rotted ones, and they take a good amount of strength and effort to fill the bottom of your raised beds with. So I thought, what would be a highly accessible, easier to manage alternative to using logs? And the answer was right below my feet. Wood chips are essentially just cut up logs. They have all the beneficial properties that logs have, but are much easier to manage and work with. If you're going to fill the base of your raised bed with wood chips, like I'm going to, there are a few very important things you need to take into account. First off, you want to fill the base of your bed with wood chips that have composted down, like you see these right here. You don't want to fill the base of your bed with wood chips from fresh cut down trees, with leaves in them still, like you see right here. Fresh wood chips, when piled up, will go through the composting process and will heat up. This causes the mass of chips and leaves to shrink considerably. If you fill your bed with wood chips from fresh cut down trees, you will get a lot of sinkage in your bed. Also, wood chips that are composting tend to dry out quickly because water is necessary for the composting process. Fresh wood chips will rob water from your bed instead of holding onto the water and wicking it up to your soil. Composted wood chips have already cooked down and will break down much slower. In wood chips that are finished composting, you'll find a lot of fungi because the fungi is actually what will break the wood down over a long period of time. Jeff Lawton would call the fungi the teeth of the forest because it kind of eats the wood. With composted wood chips, you won't have to worry about them robbing nitrogen from your soil or your plants because the fungi is what will break the wood down, not the composting process. A good sign that your wood chips are done cooking is when you find both fungi and earthworms in your wood chips. At this point, you know that the composted wood chips are cool enough for earthworms to thrive in. And also, it's wet enough for the fungi to thrive, which will cause the wood chips to become more porous, creating a perfect filler for the bottom of your raised beds. I have a friend who had a pile of wood chips that was sitting for years. I went to his place, filled up the back of a truck with wood chips, and brought them home to fill my bed. A bed of this size would cost a lot of money to fill with soil, and filling it with wood chips will make the whole process super cheap and super easy. Filling the bed with wood chips will also be great for both drainage and water retention. The gaps between the chips will allow the water to drain nicely and will prevent the soil from going anaerobic. Also, since these wood chips are composted and are already starting to rot, they will be able to hold on to some of the moisture as well, and some of that moisture they can wick up into the soil. Rotting wood has the incredible ability to both absorb and displace water when needed. That's one of the main reasons it's such an incredible option to fill the bottom of your raised beds with. After filling 80% of this 32-inch tall 4x8 raised bed with wood chips, I grabbed some buckets of homemade potting mix that I used last year to grow plants in and reused that to create a buffer between the wood chips and my high quality soil that I will add. Most plants' roots only need about 10 to 12 inches of good soil to grow in. By using these free fillers, I'm going to only need about 8 to 10 inches of my homemade soil. All the benefits of a deep raised bed without the cost. Now I will add in my high quality soil that I make myself with coco coir, compost, vermiculite, and a little perlite. This creates the ideal mix to grow all kinds of plants in. I have a video on how I make my own soil if you want to try it out. It works amazing. There we go. The bed is all filled. The last thing we need to do is just get some plants in. And when I plant, or even a couple weeks before, I'll go through and I'll mix in some all-purpose fertilizer into the top few inches of the soil. I need to do this because the compost that I'm using in my mix is a mushroom compost. So adding some nutrition is super necessary. It's important that you don't mix the wood chips into your soil. If you do that, then the wood chips will rob nitrogen from your soil. Layering composted wood chips like we did in here will be fine because there's only a small amount of wood chips that are actually even in contact with the soil. Whenever you're using wood chips, whether it be in a bed like this or as a mulch in the ground, you always want to layer them. You don't want to mix them into the soil. That will cause a soil stomachache. Wood chips are one of the best free resources out there for any gardener. I use them as a mulch to help keep the weeds down. I also use them as a filler for my raised beds. The unique attributes they possess makes them the ideal all-purpose garden resource. Right here is the bed that I filled up earlier this year with logs. You can see how well everything is growing. Look at this Yakina Savoy here. Look at some of this lettuce, almost ready to be harvested. It looks fantastic. Cabbages back there look really nice also. And the majority of this bed, like I mentioned, is just logs and sticks, so it didn't cost me a lot to fill it. And still, the plants are growing great. These covers I like a lot too. They help keep everything safe, and no cabbage butterflies or anything can come in when I close this down. Let me bring you over and show you how I'm gonna plant out my deep raised bed that I filled the base of with wood chips. I'm gonna grab one of these plants. You can see a lot of my brassicas are about ready to go in, and they look really healthy. Right now I'm just using this bed as like a way to protect them from the wind, but soon I'll fill this bed up and get it planted also. So let me grab a lavender cauliflower. This is a really cool one. I've grown a bunch of different purple cauliflowers in the past, but I don't think I've tried the lavender one. I grew the purple a bunch of times, which I like a lot, and the purple of Sicily, but I wanted to try the lavender. These seeds are actually super expensive, so I'm hoping that it's a pretty good variety. I got the boss behind me, making sure everything's going well. What do you think, boy? If you love seeing Tuck in the videos, don't forget to spam some hearts down low for the young king. Let's move over to the bed that we just finished filling and get this in. So it's not the ideal time to transplant. I like transplanting on a day where it's overcast and possibly drizzling a little bit. So it's warm right now. This isn't the perfect time to do it. I just want to show you how I do it. I'm gonna grab some all-purpose fertilizer. And again, like you saw, most of this bed is just filled with wood chips. So look how deep it is. Look how tall the bed is. It makes it really nice and easy to work with, but we don't have to spend an insane amount of money on soil. And we didn't fill it with just all natural soil, which isn't great for drainage. So it won't all pool up and just go anaerobic, the soil at the base. So the wood chips are an awesome option. Again, lighter than the logs too. So we'll take some of our all-purpose fertilizer. I'm gonna plant right here. Let me get out of the sun a bit. Out of the shade, and we'll just mix in some all-purpose fertilizer in the area we're gonna plant it. Just like this. Mix it in the top few inches. I don't wanna mix it too deep because every time I water, the fertilizer will just go deeper into the soil. We'll make our hole just like this, that this is gonna go into, and then we'll take our cauliflower, we'll pop it out. You can see not root bound or anything yet. Then we'll drop it in. And brassicas, they won't root from the stem, but sometimes I'll bury them a bit deeper than I took them out, just to help with a little bit of stability. We'll drop it in just like this, covered around the base. Then we'll take our hose and get this guy watered in. It is as simple and easy as that. And it's nice not being like I am right now, bending on your hands and knees to plant it. It's nice to just come out here, be at a decent height, and get your stuff in the ground. Planting doesn't have to be difficult, and when you fill a bed like this and you make your own soil, it just makes the whole planting process super quick. So it took a little bit to make the soil and maybe to fill the bed, but now that it's like this, everything's gonna be quick and easy to just plug right into the ground. And I know over the next few years, we'll get a little sinkage in the bed, but all I have to do is just add a little bit more soil as the years progress, and we're not gonna have to have the big investment of getting this whole bed filled, and then it's just gonna be kind of maintenance in the future. So this style of growing and this style of filling raised beds is convenient, it's easy, and it's super accessible to get those wood chips. Basically anybody can find them. The same cover that I have on that other bed, I'm gonna put on this bed also. So it's gonna look really just fantastic. It's gonna keep the cabbage worms off. And if you wanna check out some of the covers or even these raised beds, check out the website at teamgrow.us. We have some of the best, highest quality gardening products that makes your life easier so you can grow more food. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got something out of it. The boss is out here sitting in the shade of the raised bed. He's always working. He's always just watching out, making sure nothing sneaks into the garden. Make sure to spam some hearts down low for the young king. Right, boyo? We had a blast out here. We hope you got some value out of the video, and we hope that we're encouraging you to get out into your garden and to get your raised beds filled and to get them planted. If you want big harvests in the future, now is the time to get out there and put the work in. I'm telling you, it will pay off in dividends and compound year after year. So you got to make sure you're out there getting your garden planted. Whether it's a big backyard or it's just a porch garden, get some stuff in the ground today. Me and Tuck wanted to thank one of our new channel members, Jim Greenlee. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for having your hand in everything we're doing out here. You can see, look at the apple tree in the back. The flowers are blooming. The bees are out working. The garden is awake. Everything's turning green. So we're just so excited for this time of year. We've waited for this. We've invested in this. So we know it's going to be our most productive, best year ever. And me and Tuck are so excited that you guys are following along for it. We also wanted to mention that we're working on some new merch that we're really proud of. So keep an eye out for that. If you want to grab some spring garden merch to be part of Team Grow. Grab the raised bed if you haven't got one. Grab some of the cool lights that fit right into the side of the raised bed so you can come out and enjoy the garden at night. Some of the add-ons that come with the raised beds, or even some JP Secret Stuff fertilizer, so you can take your garden to the next level. Tuck and James will be back at you again. One more shot of the little guy. Hold on, let's get one more shot of him. Yeah, Tuck, the young king, the boss. This guy's just the greatest. We love him out here. And James, we'll be both back at you again real soon. We out.